Hey everybody, and welcome back to another lecture with Coding with Roby. In this lecture, we're going to be creating our own custom HTTP exception handler. What we're going to be doing is, in our read all books, which is the .get API, we're going to check to see if books to return is a negative number. If books to return is a negative number, we're going to throw our own custom HTTP exception handler, which is a negative number exception, where we're going to return our own custom status code and our own custom message to go along with it. The first thing we need to do is create this class. So right above our app equals FastAPI, I'm going to create a new class. This class is going to be called negative number exception. Negative number exception is going to be an extension of exception. And then within the negative number exception, we're going to use our def, special init, and then pass in self and books to return, which is going to be an int. We're then saying self.books to return is equal to books to return. We now want to create a new decorator for the exception handler. And we're going to create this right above the beginning of our APIs. So here I'm going to say @app.exceptionHandler, and I'm going to pass in our negative number exception class as the parameter. Our method is going to be an asynchronous call, so async def negative number exception handler. And as the parameter, we're going to pass in request, which is of type request, and exception, which is of type negative number exception. And we're going to need to import this request. So let's quickly scroll to the top and let's just type in request right after HTTP exception. And now pass in another parameter of exception, negative number exception. We're then going to return our own JSON response, which of course we also have to now import JSON response. So we're going to scroll back to the top and we're going to say from STARLETTE dot responses import JSON response. Now let's scroll back down, and now that we have this good, let's now add our status code of 418. And our content, which is going to be a dictionary of message, and the value is going to be, hey, why do you want negative number of books? You need to read more. All right, and now let's finally scroll down to our read all books function. And now right above this length of books, let's create a new if statement. If books to return is true and books to return is less than 0, let's raise this number exception and pass in the number of books to return that the user passed in as the query parameter. Alright, so now let's save our file. So what we did here was we created a new class, negative number exception, which is of type exception, where we pass in the books to return, which is equal to books to return. We then created an @app.exception handler where we returned a JSON response including the exception of books to return, and then we raised the negative number exception during the read all books if the books to return is true, but the books to return is less than 0. Let's try it out. If we head back to our Swagger UI and refresh our page, and we come back up to read all books, and we say try it out, if we execute this currently, we'll get all of our books. However, if we type in -2, click execute, we're going to get, hey, why do you want -2 books? You need to read more. However, if you just type in a normal 2, we'll get the normal value of 2 books returned. But again, if we say a -1, hey, why do you want -1 books? You need to read more. Now, creating custom handlers is extremely important within APIs, so you can clarify the error back to the client and user. And this wraps up this lecture on creating custom HTTP exceptions, and I will see you in the next video.